Hi everyone, I'm quickly recording this video just to answer the question from the video. I also put the text version here, but I think it's probably quickly. If I record a video in case you are favorite of like see me talking, might be more clear. So for the first question, click on the breadcrumb step 1, and yes, we will go back to the step 1. So here, if user create a policy, choose this type. If they click on this, they will go back to step 1 and the same here. And I updated the flowchart here, and I think, well, I also have a GIF here, so you can double check if you forgot what are the flows. So this is up to date. I double check them. The next question is the URL should be different from step 1 and step 2. I think ideally, yes. Because if user really want to share the URL, they would expect that they're sharing what they're seeing. So it's either step 1 or step 2. But for MVC, if it's very difficult, I also understand we can do it iterative. I can create a new issue, just let me know. Because I wouldn't expect sharing step 1 or step 2 will be a common kind of gesture user will use. And the reason why they want to share with another person, probably double check, is probably not like a very common to share it. And also if we have a different URL, for example, in the step 2, there are a lot of content here. That means we need to remember this content. I don't know how difficult it is. So it depends on, I think, the engineer effort. I'm fine with doing it iteratively. It doesn't really block user to finish their main task. It's an additional feature user should have. And the next question is a little bit complicated. So also ideally, edit means user can fully edit, both the policy type and the policy content, not partially editing. But since we are currently don't allow user to edit that the already created policy, that the user cannot change type, then I'm fine with doing this in this round, and I have create a new issue to follow it up, improve on editing policy to let it fully edit. I will put it up to you guys to decide, do it all together or do it separately. I already created a separate issue, so let me explain. So things what are doing now is we change these 2 steps. There are 2 things. One is a new policy, when user create a new policy, and another one is editing policy. So we need to, in the header, to clearly indicate that is a new policy or is editing policy. So it's edit or new. And also here in the breadcrumb, I add additional thing, and together with the title, double kind of confirm what policy type is. I think it's clear enough for user to know which policy type it is they're choosing. And during this creation phase, when user haven't created anything, and I think user definitely should be freely jump back from step 1 and step 2 to change policy and all the stuff. It shouldn't be a problem. That's also the current behavior. And after user have created the policy and it's become edit, we should according to the current flow, what we do now, we can just disable this breadcrumb, and we can remove the button of go back to private type, and we show user a tooltip says policy type cannot be changed after a policy has been created. Create a new policy if needed. So that's what we tell user now what to do. So I think this is good enough for MVC. We don't change the current flow. We don't add too much, but it's not really the ideal user experience, because when user click on edit the policy, they would understand, I'm not only adding the comment, if you want to change the policy type, that's also part of the editing. It's a 2-step, why I cannot only change the step 2, not step 1. But again, why I think it could be iterative, because it shouldn't be very common. If you like create a new policy and to change policy that type of the old one is basically the same thing. So probably first things when user want to create a new policy, different type, they will create a new policy instead of change an old one to a different policy type. But in case that happens, we should still enable user readback feature. And for the next step, what happened is, for example, like in the new issue I'm proposing is, like even in the editing thing, we still allow the user to go back to step 1 and edit step 1, but we indicate currently this is already selected, we save it. And if user choose this again, and then fine. But if they decide to change, for example, to network policy, we need to warn them that if you change it, your current like policy will be lost. Like it's better you create a new one or something. So basically that's it. I will like add the link here about the new issue and the stuff. So basically the last question a little bit long compared to others. Others are more simple. Let me know if I have any questions. Thank you.